She was a very successful internet sensation on top of her game with over 2 million followers on Instagram. She also had over $3 million in her bank account and lived the life. However, on April 3, 2022, Courtney's irreversible actions would leave her boyfriend Christian dead and her life in ruins. Should she be blamed for his untimely death? Well, let's dive in. Courtney was born on April 1, 1996 to her mother Deborah and her father Kim. Her father was a financial advisor, and therefore Courtney and her sister Morgan lived a good life. They got what their hearts desired. Deborah and Kim were active in sports, and their kids Courtney and Morgan picked it up too. Courtney enjoyed football, gymnastics, volleyball, riding horses, and diving. Also, at the age of 13, she began taking theater, dance, and drama classes. She took physical fitness a lot more seriously, and moving into her adulthood, she became a qualified personal trainer and even won several competitions in weightlifting and physical fitness. She, however, dropped out of college once she realized it was not her passion. She decided to focus on fitness and on social media, where she would post consistently. In her late teens, she got minor roles in movies like Boyhood and Everybody Wants Some. In her young adult years, she was featured in G-Eazy's music video for Me, Myself and I, which ended up being a huge hit. She said that her role in the music video made people reach out to her for opportunities and made her gain more followers on her socials. Due to her consistent online presence, she decided to join the OnlyFans platform. Through social media, she got opportunities such as sponsorships and interviews. In less than 3 years, she had made more than $3 million on the OnlyFans platform. In 2020 alone, she earned $1 million and $1.8 million in 2021. She was living the dream, guys. She had the fame, fortune, financial security, and even love. So in 2020, Courtney met Christian Obmuseli, nicknamed Toby. He was born on 12th April 1994 in Dallas, Texas. He was also good in basketball and football and is said to have been an extremely compassionate and gentle man who had an infectious smile. He was a cryptocurrency investor. The two met, fell in love, and were moving way too fast, something that made their mutual friends nervous. They were deeply in love, very passionate, but a few months in, the relationship started to get dark. Toby became her personal assistant, and this meant that they were together most of the times. Courtney became controlling, got very upset often for minor issues, pulled him away from his friends, and would always scream at him. This made him so stressed and withdrawn. It escalated into physical violence, which worsened by the time. Courtney started to frequent bars and clubs and became dependent on alcohol. She couldn't handle her liquor though, and in fact, she had 2 DUI charges against her. Once in 2015, before Toby was even in the picture, and this landed her 3 days in jail, and the other one in 2021 after wrecking her white Mercedes-Benz into another car. In July that same year, 2021, police were called after she threw a glass at Toby's head in Las Vegas during one of her outbursts. She was held for 12 hours overnight, and despite almost being seriously injured, Toby didn't press charges. In fact, he desperately pleaded for her release. Talk of better or worse, but in this situation, it kinda got worse.
We were getting loud, and I was like, oh my god, we're gonna like do damage to the room or something. Not damage to each other, like I really wanna like
But why would you think
that.
Why would you think that you were gonna do damage to the room?
I like throwing something, or like.
Did you throw something?
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
Did anybody throw anything?
No.
So why would you think that there is damage to the room to be made?
Because I've done that before in our house, and I.
What have you done?
Thrown a glass at him, plate, and I could just see. Like the way that things were going, we were either gonna get loud or I was gonna end up throwing something or like get in trouble somehow. So I was like, you know what, I'm just nipping this in the bud.
Did you throw a glass or a plate at him today?
No.
Okay. So if
No, this is before.
Okay, so when I go to the room and I see a broken glass on the floor, where did the glass come from?
I don't know. I literally couldn't even remember how the fight started.
Okay, well.
Was there?
Yeah.
Maybe I did. Well, I'm guessing that I threw a glass.
Did you remember throwing the glass?
No, I don't. But that sounds like me.
In November 2021, another severe outburst by Courtney resulted in her stabbing Toby in the leg, and I just don't understand how this was not a very red sign that he should leave. I mean, the red signs were already there, but they should have been like the very red one. Know what I mean? Anyway, this is what was retrieved from a message that Toby wrote about the situation. The crazy thing about all of this is that yesterday when you stabbed me in the leg and you saw how bad I was hurting and I couldn't walk, you were telling me I wish I could take your pain away, I wish it was me and not you, and the next morning I still woke up happy and I gave you a good day even though my leg was hurting because my girlfriend stabbed me. Whatever happened last night, today is a new day because that's what I do for you. I woke up happy, I took you to Vegas, drove right back, helped you shoot, drank with you, did blow with you just so you're having a great day, and I'm doing all this while my leg hurts so bad. Did I make you feel bad for stabbing me? No, I just stacked it up and I hope tomorrow will be better. This is just so sad, guys. Like, really? Anyway, the two decided to move from Houston to Miami in January 2022. They settled in a luxurious 3-bedroom apartment which had amazing views. The apartment was on the 22nd floor and the rent wasn't cheap. It costed Courtney $10,000 a month, but hey, if you can afford it, why not? She was the one paying the rent and often bragged about it and threatened to kick Toby out if ever he misbehaved. Even after the move, though, her troubling behavior worsened. She became a well-known face to the local clubs and bars. Old habits really do die hard. Her attitude got even worse as time went by. Appearing on a podcast in Miami, she openly admitted that she was toxic, hated being bossed around and controlled, and that she only dates rich black guys.
I'm Courtney Taylor, and I do OF for a living.
OnlyFans. You got like 1 million followers or something?
2 million.
Damn. You look like the type of girl that only dates like rich guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I only date black guys. Especially black guys. Especially black guys. Let me clarify. I only date rich black guys.
Rich black guys. There we go. And you know you're toxic.
Yeah.
You can tell she like black guys. It's like, especially black guys. For all you watching out, I'm with it. Do you like to be fully controlled, or do you?
I like to be submissive. Yeah, in the bedroom. Yes. But like in my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
Yeah, so you only want them to tell you what to do in the bedroom. Other than that, you don't want them to tell you anything.
Right. No, that's exactly it. Yes.
Mm. So that sounds like you're a control freak with your relationships. Be careful with this one. She's gonna boss you around like
exactly. Sweet toxicity.
She became a serious risk to Toby's physical and mental health. She would shout and scream at him, and people who lived like 2 floors above them could actually hear their fights and had complained several times about it because they were not comfortable. It said that they were actually gonna be evicted from the apartment and they had just like moved in. She would also use racial references while they were arguing, trash their home, and even throw out his clothes off their apartment balcony. Here's the thing, now every time she would throw him out and realize that she had made a mistake, she would profusely apologize to him by showering him with gifts. Talk of a narcissist. However, despite all these constant aggressions, Toby would always defend her in front of officers and other people. He would always write letters that will depict a heartbroken and yet love-struck kind of a situation. In that January, Toby was wounded on his face and ended up in the hospital with stitches all over it. It's alleged that the two had a fight over some text messages and Toby decided to go watch a football match down at the bar. Courtney then texted Toby and he replied with, "Yes, Courtney," and this angered her, because the yes, according to her, was unnecessary. Talk of pettiness on another level. So when he was in the hospital, she texted him, "Hopefully this will give you time to think about your actions. Enjoy the hospital." She told him to say his story however he wanted to the police, and she would give her own version as well. However, Toby told him that he was just gonna say it was a football accident. Wait, what? Apparently, she didn't go to visit him while he was at the hospital. Instead, she went out drinking with her friends and even left with someone. The next day, he asked her why she didn't go see him and why he left with some guy, and she was like, "I'm sorry, I should have been there for you, I feel so bad." At this point, I'm just like, this is so messed up. Anywho, around this time, he started documenting their fights. I don't know why he did that, but I have a feeling that it was for self-protection against maybe being blamed for something he didn't do. I don't know. But now the recordings might actually help in this case.
I'm actually
not having a good day where I actually literally want to kill you, but you don't take me seriously.
The fights and drama continued, and at one instance, a video of the two arguing in an elevator started making rounds. It's obvious from the footage that Courtney was the one attacking Toby. This was so toxic. To clarify, the two had ended and restarted their relationship several times in the 2 years of dating. A few days before the incident, Courtney had asked her mom to come over and stay with her for like a week while she tried pushing him out. If you thought that they had finally realized that they needed to end it, then you'd be mistaken, because a day later, after her mom had left, the police were called to Courtney's apartment. That was on April 2nd. A heated argument broke out between them, and the police had to be called by the apartment's receptionist. Courtney had begged him not to call the police, but when the police arrived, she flipped and sounded like she really wanted them to be called.
Boyfriend actually came after her, and Paul was walking towards there, and then I just said, you know, enough is enough. Police need to be called. She said she don't want police to be called. But when it's in a common area and something happened like that, my safety is the residents first.
I stayed in my apartment all day. I didn't take my dogs out for like 8 hours because I was afraid that when I came down here, he was gonna beat down. And when I did come down, I walked my dogs, and he was telling me he wouldn't leave me alone. I said, please just walk my dogs. We're not together.
Courtney, does he have any property in your apartment?
He has so much.
All right. So what do you want to say?
I want to be like, I want to be like exonerated, I guess, of like anything wrong. And I want him, okay, the police are here. I want a restraining order against Christian Rosselli.
We don't issue those.
Because, no, I'm serious. Can I do that? Where
you have to go to court. You have to go to downtown.
How can I make myself first? Because I know him and he would do it. How can I make myself first? I had a lot of opportunities to call y'all, and I did not. So when he's following me around this dog park, I said, there is no, your time is up. Like, that's it. And then all of a sudden, like, he's following me in the elevator, and I said, don't fall. This guy said he had to push shelter. When I was upstairs, and then they showed up on my door, I said, I showed him. I said, show me the fucking video. Like, I really got angry because that did not happen. Okay, do you hear all this?
Listen.
Okay, they're listening.
Who's on the phone with you?
Just my dad.
Okay. You understand? Your questions are making much of an...
I am... Right now, like, I have not always been a victim, but, like, right now, I'm a freaking victim in the situation. I was scared to go downstairs to walk my dogs. I just walked him, and I told him, you don't have a chance, and now, all of a sudden, this is all happening.
What's his name?
Christian Tobechu Obumsili.
Christian?
Please, just, like, don't get me kicked out of my own apartment.
I think it's clear here that the situation was really getting out of control. However, unbelievably, the two got back together the next day, just hours after the incident. On that day, April 3rd, police officers would be called back to the apartment just a day after them being there, and this time, what Courtney had done would be irreversible. Police officers and paramedics arrived at the apartment and found a very horrific scene. Toby had suffered a stab wound to the chest and was bleeding profusely in Courtney's arms. Blood was also found on the kitchen island, in the master bedroom, the bathroom, and the back of the living room. He had lost a lot of blood. Courtney was then ordered to sit on the floor in the back of her apartment covered in his blood. Toby was rushed to the hospital immediately, but having lost a lot of blood, everyone was fighting against the clock to keep him alive. Courtney was then taken to the police station for questioning because she had admitted to stabbing him. She even agreed to speak without an attorney present. The interview lasted more than 4 hours, where she rambled through the many questions. To her, it was all such a blur. According to her, they had met up after the altercation with the police, and at around 1:15 p.m., Toby went out for a walk to clear his head. She was left at home, where she spent most of her time talking to her mother, doing laundry, and watching YouTube videos. At around 4 p.m., she went live on Instagram for half an hour, just as Toby returned home with a Subway sandwich. This is where things started going left. Courtney was angry at him because he had stopped sharing his live location, and since she didn't trust him, it was a big problem. It was the cause of their fight.
He came back, and I said something about, like, oh, are you gonna, like, reshare your location with me? Like, did you unshare it? And he said, yeah, I unshared it. And I was like, oh, when did you do that? And he goes, the other day, like, when you were done with me. And I was like, okay, well, fair enough. Like, reshare it. And then he told, it kind of like turned into like a little like argument or something. He was pressing me, and he ended up pinning me against the wall. And then, I said like choking me on the floor. It's just like, they were looking at my neck, and I was like, I'm not saying like choking me like, whatever. But he had my like neck, like and this happened twice before, where I couldn't breathe and I was on the floor. Yeah. I could not breathe. And I don't think that he is trying to kill me, but I was scared. And all 3 times I have been scared. Get my mom on the phone, and I'm just trying to really remember. I get my mom on the phone, and I remember she was standing like against the couch. Like we were obviously it was a big deal at this point. So this happened like over by the door, and somehow moved like over in the living room. He was standing by the couch, facing toward the kitchen, and I was in the kitchen. And then he just I could see like all the whites in his eyes, and he was like coming at me. And so I grabbed one of these knives. My mom got me for Christmas. I grabbed one of them, and I was like, I swear to God. I swear to God. It was just like, I grab and be like, don't come anywhere closer to me. Because, earlier, that happened 2 other times, I couldn't fucking breathe. I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe. And it's very scary. And I just think, just like this kind of thing where I was saying, do you know if he's okay? If he's choking me and he's angry enough, he might this is different, I think. But if he's choking me or pinning me or something and I can't breathe, he might go too long. So I grab a knife and I said, don't come anywhere closer to me. I had absolutely no intention of using it. I'm on the phone with my mom, and he's coming at me like he's gonna grab either the phone or the knife or something. And so I was just I was like, don't come any closer. It's coming at me, and I threw it. And I meant for it to go.
How far away was he?
Well, I was by my fridge, and he was by the edge of one of the chairs of the sofa.
Okay. Comparing to what
10 feet. I'm trying to think in my head. I'm trying to make the.
Was it closer than I am?
No, but just further.
Okay. So like the length of this room?
No, further than that. Okay. We shouldn't be together.
You guys have a history of domestic violence?
Yeah.
You say you've been together how long? Sorry.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
2 years.
So how many incidents you think you've had?
I don't know, but we shouldn't be together.
Courtney claims that during the fight, he grabbed her by the neck and pushed her to the floor, although no visible marks or injuries were seen during the interview. She then called her mom for support, and this made him even angrier. Allegedly, he started charging towards her, and afraid for her life, she grabbed a kitchen knife and screamed, "Don't come any closer." But apparently, Toby didn't stop, and she threw the knife at him from a distance of approximately 10 feet. During the interrogation, she claimed that she had not been given the chance to think about her story. Was she afraid that maybe she might incriminate herself? Why would you want to be given time to come up with a story if you wanted to be transparent and honest, while the events were still fresh on your mind? Unfortunately, after around 2 hours of this interview, it was revealed that Toby had passed away. Courtney was then informed.
So, we have to inform you that Christian did not make it. Okay. Unfortunately, the doctors did what they could. And
Christian is dead.
Yes.
Oh my God. This is not real, right? Okay. There's no fucking way. Christian died?
Yes.
Can I please have a hug? Am I allowed to do that in here?
Sure. Yeah.
Relax.
You're fine.
No.
Calm down. Calm down. Take deep breaths.
Toby's friends and family were beyond devastated to hear the news. His mother was shocked to hear the news from a medical examiner who called her to ask if she still wanted her son's organs to be donated. She was like, "What you talking about?" The examiner didn't know that the police had not yet told her about his death. Even the dad was shocked to hear the news.
I was at work, and the lady said that she's calling to know if I'll give them the permission for Toby to donate his organs. And I'm like, what? Donate what? I told her, I said, "Ma'am, I don't understand what you're saying." And she asked me, "Are you saying that the medical examiner's office has not contacted you?" And that was on Monday. I gave my sister the number to call, and that's how we got to know that Toby was killed. The way the news came to me was very, very inhuman and devastating. And we got to know that it happened on Sunday.
So this happened on Sunday, and you didn't learn about it until you got this out of the blue call on Monday?
Yes.
And Christopher, you were involved in these calls?
No, I was at work myself. She called several times. I didn't know. Not until my son called, and I was saying, "What's up?" Usually he doesn't call me when I'm at work, you know. So I picked up the phone, and he said, "Daddy, come home. Toby is dead."
And how did you find out, Jeffrey?
I was on my way to work. My uncle called me, and he told me to come home, that my brother had passed. And because I couldn't believe anything that happened. This is unreal. His birthday was literally in about a week.
At this time, the family still doesn't know the details as far as how Toby was killed. And so the entire family is now trying to inquire and investigate as to what happened. So Jeffrey and I contact the detective, and he states that, that he's busy, they don't have any details to give us at this particular moment, that he'll call us back. We call back, I think maybe an hour later, and he was very dismissive. He was like, you guys need to give me time to do my job. We're saying, okay, well, can you just share anything that you know? All we know is that our family member has been killed. And he was just very, very cold. He wouldn't tell us what occurred until finally, when he called later on Monday evening, and he stated that, based on Courtney's reporting, that Courtney had killed him in self-defense, and that there was enough evidence for him to, close the case, close the investigation at that particular time.
After the interrogation, she was allowed to leave. It was then concluded that this was a self-defense situation, and her lawyer had successfully convinced the authorities that she did it to save her life. However, Toby's family wasn't having it. They went in hard, and they were like, "We ain't going with that." They hired a lawyer who took time to find incriminating evidence against Courtney. Toby's family created a GoFundMe page to help raise money for his burial, while on the other side, Courtney was living her life in Texas after relocating from Miami because she wanted to be closer to her family. She was actually blowing over $1 million. She bought herself a $1.4 million home in June, which has 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and other luxurious stuff like a hot tub and 3 deck areas. She also wired $1.2 million into her father's account for safekeeping. Shortly after, she checked herself in a rehab in Hawaii because she was getting worse mentally, suffered from PTSD, and her alcohol consumption was worsening. However, on August 10th, she was arrested on charges of second-degree murder. Toby's family lawyer discovered her other reports of her abusive nature. It was said that she had tried to stab her previous partner before Toby and also broke the jaw of a known bodybuilder in 2017. Now all this, plus the disturbing text messages, the elevator footage, the letters, recordings of their fights, and other evidence materials would be taken into account during her trial. She had a bond hearing whereby her lawyer filed a motion for her to be released on bond while she waited trial, but it was denied after state prosecutors argued that she was a flight risk because of the money she's made on sites like OnlyFans. She has been on pre-trial detention since August 2022 and her trial date has yet to be set. I think that they did not handle this situation right. The red signs were there, but they were both stuck in this cycle of abuse. I don't know how this is gonna pan out, but I honestly see Courtney as a narcissist who always wanted attention and never cared about Toby's feelings. She was taking advantage of the immense love he had for her. Toby is, however, a good-hearted man who adored her, wanted to give her all his love, but in a way I think he was also obsessed with her. Like he couldn't just let her go. Whether it was immense love or obsession, the point is he cared deeply about her. Thanks for watching. See you in my next one.